can't see anything. Oh my god, it's a tree stump. I thought somebody was stood right there.
Oh! My shirt got wet.
Deep in the wilderness, even a quiet night can turn disturbing without warning. From a dark figure watching through abandoned ruins to something reaching through a tent and grabbing a camper's head, these encounters quickly became terrifying. So what was really out there in the darkness? The first video comes from Moxley's Paranormal World and was uploaded on February 2nd, 2026. The channel follows paranormal investigators exploring reportedly haunted and abandoned locations across the United Kingdom, focusing on what they experienced during real-time investigations.
So tonight, we're coming out on a haunted camp, and I'm not alone on this one. I've got somebody with me. We've come back to this forestry. We're going to spend the full night out here. We're going to see if we can capture any of the unusual stuff that was happening last time. So yeah, just taking a look around. Look how dense this looked. In this place, the last time we were here, we heard screaming. It felt like we were being followed at times. So yeah, let's go over and let's have a look at the spot that we've picked for this evening overnight camp. I swear I keep hearing something over there.
In this video, Moxley and Lottie returned to a forest where they had experienced several strange events before. The location was also connected to stories of a shadowy figure known as the Hat Man. This time they planned to stay for the entire night and sleep inside their tent. At one point they decided to rest for about an hour, but after Lottie woke up and stepped outside to use the bathroom, something happened that left her terrified.
I can't see anything. Oh my god, it's a tree stump. I thought somebody was stood right there. There's Lottie there. It smells of wet dog. Right, I think safety in the tent. That's what I'm thinking at the minute.
Is that you?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah?
Over that side where I've just been down, over there, it absolutely stinks of wet dog.
It's a wet dog?
Yeah,
Over there?
yeah. Very strong of wet dog. And it's sort of the way we come in. We live in the shadows. We've already had that once tonight here.
Do you think there's anyone out there? Like, do you feel...
I can't see anything. I can't see anyone. Not heard anyone.
Lottie suddenly rushed back and shook Moxley awake. While walking toward the tent, she had heard the same chilling whistle they had recorded earlier that night. This time the sound seemed much closer. Then, as Lottie looked toward a window in the old ruins beside their camp, she said she saw a tall, dark, solid figure standing there. According to her, it remained completely still and appeared to be staring directly at her. The moment their eyes met, the figure disappeared from view. What made the situation even stranger was that Moxley said he had heard nothing, no whistle and no warning sound. In a dense forest, trees and uneven ground can make sounds difficult to locate, but that does not explain what Lottie believed she saw. Was it only a mistake in the darkness, or was something really watching them from the ruins? What would you do if a familiar place suddenly turned hostile just before you sold it? Jody Dean and his friend faced one disturbing camping encounter during their final night there. Jody Dean had owned a haunted house attraction in the American South for years. His YouTube channel, Hunting the Dead, was built around investigations, overnight stays, and strange activity recorded on the same property. On September 21st, 2024, Jody uploaded footage from what could be one of his final overnight investigations there. He had already put the property up for sale, and according to him, the activity had become more aggressive than before.
We are camping overnight at my haunted house attraction, Dean's Haunted Mansion. But this is probably going to be the last time you're ever going to see me film here at this location. I put the mansion up for sale. Recently, I accepted an offer on it. It was a good deal, and we close on this thing in like 90 days. Ever since I put this up for sale, this place has been crazier than ever. And when I say crazy, I mean not good paranormal activity, evil stuff, bad.
Before the sale was completed, he invited his friend Mask to camp overnight on the property one more time. The two began a spirit box session inside the tent. A response came through almost immediately before Jody had even finished asking his question. Not long after that, a strange noise came from somewhere across the dark yard.
What was that? Bro, what the fuck? Hello?
Dude, what the fuck?
What is that?
I don't know. I don't know how good it. Hold on, let me turn on. Shit, bro, what did I do with the flashlight? Alright, here we go.
Hello? Stay right there, Max. Hello?
Are you okay?
What the f just happened? Bro, what the f?
What was it?
What do you mean, what was it? You didn't hear that? Dude. Oh my god. Was it trying to stop me from going over here? Bro, turn around. Look right behind you. Dude, I could have swore something was just standing by you. Dude, come here. All right, come here.
Neither of them knew what caused it, so they went outside to check. While looking around, they noticed what appeared to be something large standing near the edge of the property. Mask walked toward the area, but by the time he got there, whatever they had seen was gone. They returned to the tent, but the strange activity seemed to follow them. At one point, the side of the tent suddenly pushed inward. It looked as if something from outside had pressed against the fabric. They also noticed cold air moving through certain spots around them.
Hello? Maybe something fell off the tree and hit the drum out there. I was just saying, I'm a little nervous because that sound was loud. Whoa!
What the f was that?
Okay, that was not off of a tree. That came from behind you?
Yeah.
Dude, we were just out there. There's no... What the hell, bro? Hello? Dude, does it look like there's... Hey! Hey, whoever did that, stop!
Jody said he did not think it was simply a normal change in temperature. Then more sounds started outside. Something seemed to move around the tent. The noises grew louder, came from different directions, and at one point sounded like scratching against the tent walls. Both men stopped talking and listened.
Dude, my camera just went blurry when that happened. It wasn't blurry the whole time, but it went blurry as soon as that happened. It sounded like something was scratching in here, bro. That sounded like it was inside the tent. Dude, that just dented in right there. Guys, let me show you what I see right now. Just dented in over there. That's all. That was right there too. Yo, what the f? Mask, feel how cold this is right here. Feel this.
Why is it cold?
Bro, that is... Oh my god! Do you think I should get out and check it?
Hold on.
We were just out there, dude. There was nothing out there. The whole time we were out there, and now all of a sudden there's... Bro, it's in here. It's in here.
What was that?
If there's somebody out there, you need to know I have a firearm.
What the fuck was that?
When they checked outside, no one was there. The strange noises continued around the property. Things appeared to fall or land near the tent, and they also heard unusual sounds outside while Jody was talking.
Who are you? Yo, what the hell? Listen, somebody's clearly out there. Dude, you need to stop messing with... Do you think... Is this what the org does to you or no?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not playing. You need to stop.
Each time they looked, they could not see anyone. They received a strange phone call.
I'm not gonna just randomly start shooting, dude. That's the last thing I need is for freaking... to... Maybe I should fire a couple warning shots. There's no way, bro. There's no way that they could disappear that quick. We just were out there. There was nobody out there. Oh my god, look what the Spirit Talker says. There's many of us. Bro, what?
According to them, the caller knew when Mask had gone to the bathroom earlier that evening, knew they were outside, and seemed to know exactly where they were. Before they could fully understand what was happening, something appeared to reach through the tent from behind Jody. He suddenly lurched forward and said that something had grabbed the back of his head.
Bro! What the Dude, somebody just tried to grab my head. Somebody just tried to grab my head. Dude, something just grabbed at my head. It didn't even feel like a human hand. Something just like... It was almost like the tent. What is that? There's something right there. Hold on. Let me see if I take off night vision. If we... Hold on. There was just a full figure, though. Hold on. Oh, no. Where's the... Shh. Somebody just walked over there.
Where is it?
I just seen somebody walk over that way. Hold on. Come on. No, turn back on. No, turn back on. Please. My God. No. Okay.
Mask was standing only a short distance away and saw Jody react, but neither of them could explain what had touched him. As the night continued, they kept hearing movement circling the tent. Jody had spent years on this property, but he said he had never experienced anything there that felt this physically aggressive before. The sale still went through, but this final camping encounter left them with more questions than answers. Was someone hiding around the property? Or was Jody right to believe that the activity had changed after he decided to sell the place? Project Fear is the team behind the original Destination Fear television series. They now travel across the country filming paranormal investigations and exploring places connected to strange stories. On February 21st, 2026, the Project Fear channel uploaded footage from an investigation in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey.
We are deep in the Pine Barrens for this video that all have very unique characteristics and their own personalities. It has been a very emotional night. I would say lots of different emotions here in the Pine Barrens. Things that range from aliens, UFOs, paranormal, tragedy, missing people, crime, you name it. Pine Barrens has it.
Just a reminder as well, we are split up into two different groups. It's myself, Chelsea, and Tanner.
During the episode, the crew split into two groups while exploring the area. The Pine Barrens is connected to stories involving UFO sightings, missing people crime, and the legend of the Jersey Devil. One group went searching for the isolated Shaler grave along Indian Cabin Road. They pulled into a quiet dirt area near a dark clearing and planned to continue on foot, but almost immediately something felt wrong.
Oh, fuck.
What is that?
Someone. They're pulling out. They're driving down the other way now.
That was really creepy. Like, he turned his lights on to, like, warn us. But I didn't see, like, cop. I'm just gonna, like, pull out for a minute. Because I got a bad vibe. He, like, came right behind us and just waited for us to leave.
Like, what would this guy have, like, need to be guarding a grave?
Yeah. I'm nervous, though. Because, like, there's people out here, they call them pineys, whatever, who chase you out of spots.
It's right here. I can't go.
And here I go. Ready?
Yeah, drive.
No.
Oh, he is there. He is there. He is there. Yep. He's there.
That's not a cop. Did
No.
you kind of see it?
Yeah. That's so fucking sketchy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's,
Judging around. I don't want to be locked in.
no. That was another car.
It's the same color lights and everything.
I think it's the dude. Get out of here or what?
Oh, he's speeding.
Is he?
I'm going right.
I'm gonna keep going.
Yep.
I'm gonna turn. There's a cop.
There's a cop.
A truck that had been sitting deep among the trees suddenly turned on its headlights. The vehicle then moved toward their car, making the group feel as if the driver had been watching them. They quickly left the area, but the truck followed them along the narrow forest road. The group became increasingly nervous as the vehicle stayed behind them through the darkness. Then, just when they thought they had gotten away, another pair of similar headlights appeared behind them. For a moment, everyone began to panic. However, the second vehicle turned out to be a police car. Even after that, the earlier encounter left the group badly shaken. They could not understand why the first truck had been waiting near the grave, or why the driver appeared to follow them away from the area. Later, another part of the investigation took place at the Blue Hole. The group sat quietly beside the water, hoping for a calmer ending to the night. They turned off their lights and remained completely silent, waiting to see whether they could capture anything unusual.
Oh my god, dude! Yo. Shit. Oh my god, what's water? That was in the water, like back far left.
No way, dude. Is there an animal in the water? Let's go on.
I literally can't see anything on this side.
Right over here, dude. It was, what is through here?
That sounded like something like jumping into the
sounded
water.
like a beaver, like when we grew up in Minnesota, like a
the
beaver tail.
slap.
Yeah.
Dude! Dude!
We were just talking about how we feel like, not like human, like eyes, like a person watching us.
Can we get a little bit closer that way?
Then a loud splash suddenly came from the water only a short distance away. The sound appeared to come from an area close to where someone had been sitting only moments earlier. The group immediately turned their lights back on and searched the water, but they could not see anything. There were no clear ripples moving across the surface, no visible branch floating in the water, and no animals swimming away. In dark wooded areas, sounds can be difficult to locate accurately, especially near water. A splash may sound closer or come from a different direction than expected, but without seeing the source, it can be difficult to know what actually caused it. The strange truck may have had an ordinary explanation, and the splash could have come from something hidden in the darkness. Still, both moments happened in places where the group could not clearly see what was around them. What do you think they encountered that night in the Pine Barrens? On November 21st, 2025, in the remote Australian bush, Mincy of the Mincy Outdoors channel began another solo camping journey. Her content normally captures peaceful evenings, basic bushcraft tasks, and the steady routine of spending time alone in nature. This trip, however, took her into the forest while the weather was changing, with only a small tent and essentials, without knowing how fast a quiet outing might become much more unpredictable.
I'm gonna start looking for a spot to camp because I think the rain's gonna set in really soon and it could be heavy. There's a really long poo here. I don't know if it's from a snake or something, but it's got a real big casing on the outside. Could also be intestines of some animal. I'm gonna break it open and see what's inside. It looks like grass. Maybe it's a kangaroo or something. This looks like a pretty nice spot to set up my camp. Right next to the water. It's going to be a bit hard to find a straight stick around here for my tent. It's like tick territory in here as well. Maybe like here.
She reached the bush before the rainfall began, looking for somewhere to make camp. As the light faded, during the walk, she noticed a long line of droppings packed with grass and assumed they had come from a kangaroo. Farther ahead, she found an open area near a stream and chose it as the best campsite before conditions worsened. Yet the forest still had unexpected moments ahead.
Big hole in the ground over here. I'm going to show you. What is it? Is there some creature that lives in there? I wonder if it opens up on the other side. Can you see anything down there? I'm going to climb down and see if I can see in the bottom of this hole. It's starting to rain. Oh! I sure got wet. I can't get back up. Dang it. It's like really jamming in there. There we go. Ooh, it's like semi-wet inside, but it's a little bit dry. Oh! My GoPro fell over. What are you doing over here? Fucking GoPro. I put my finger on the lens. I need to go get my rain jacket. Getting too wet out here. Oh, don't fall in the hole.
As she explored nearby, she discovered a deep pit in the earth and climbed into it for a closer look. Soon afterward, the first raindrops began falling and quickly developed into steady rain. When she attempted to climb out, the damp soil made finding secure footing difficult, although she eventually pulled herself free and made it back to camp. The storm had only started.
Oh my god, there's a big jumping jack on my bag. Don't bite me. They're usually pretty aggressive. Look at him, he's like, wah, wah. Please go off my bag. Ah! He's jumping. God damn it. Please. I just want to get my rain jacket. Okay. I don't know how to tie a knot. You guys are always telling me new knots I should try, but I'm telling you, they don't stick in my brain. They disappear after 10 minutes. Well, anyway, that should hold for one night at least. So now when it's time to make a fire, I should have a bit of room so I don't have to go too close to the tent. Oh shit, danger. I think these are edible. So it's growing from this grassy plant. This is a blue flax lily berry. It tastes tart, like everything in the Australian bush. But also kind of like grapey. I'm gonna have to dry all of this out a bit because it's all very wet. It's all stuck to me. I'm feeling this is gonna be a smoky fire today. These are all wet. Time for some warm tea. Dry my feet off. Ooh, it's a bit scary now. Hope there's not going to be too much lightning and thunder. I'm getting a bit smoked out in my camp there. Lucky it's not stringy asparagus. I don't want to ruin my knife on the pot lid. Home sweet home. Maybe it was lightning. Ooh, that looks pretty grey what's coming this way. And sounds grey too. Ready. Well, it's not much, it's a pretty simple meal, but after spending most of the day in the rain, it's going to be nice and warm. Adding garlic is always the best idea. Are you ready for this dessert? It's a very Australian themed dessert tonight. I've got Milo. I don't know if you're familiar with Milo, but it's like chocolate drink. Next ingredient is Tim Tam. I don't know if they have Tim Tams everywhere in the world. This is an Australian dessert known around the world as the Tim Tam Slam, and I've actually never tried it before. I swear I am Australian, but I'm going to give it a go on YouTube for the first time. So start by biting the corners off, and I'm told this can get very messy, so I'm prepared for that. The goal is to try and suck the hot chocolate through the Tim Tam. I do not see how this is going to work, but here goes. Oh my god, it actually works! I can't believe it! But it's melting in my hands! Ah! Okay, it works for about 2 seconds and then the thing just melts and then you have to eat it melted. Very small amount of Milo coming through the Tim Tam. I think this is a bit of a flop, to be honest. I prefer to just eat the Tim Tam when it's crunchy.
While putting up her shelter, she noticed a jumping jack ant attached to her backpack, one of the Australian bush's aggressive insects. She responded immediately, aware of how painful its sting can be, before returning to her tent setup as rain continued falling around her Wind and thunder arrived afterward, changing the atmosphere of the evening into something less certain. Thunder echoed among the trees as darkness approached, while she kept her fire burning long enough to prepare a basic meal and stay warm. Later, she finished the evening with a Tim Tam slam and laughed as the biscuit melted faster than expected.
What a beautiful morning. I don't think there's a 5-star resort that can top this. It's beautiful this morning. They might be able to top my oats though. Some wallaby tracks. It's really sticking to the path. I've got a nice big pods on the banksia tree. You can eat the seeds inside them. This nice big seed pod. You can see the seeds in here. Once it dries out, they'll open up and then the little tiny seeds will fall out. You can actually also cook them in the fire and then they'll open up and you can eat the seeds. You can hear a wallaby back there.
By sunrise, the storm was gone, and she used the daylight to learn from the surrounding land, tasting sweet grass tree resin, studying banksia, and tracking wallaby prints before packing everything and leaving. Several viewers pointed out that the Australian bush can conceal hazards below the surface, including ants, spiders, and animals living in burrows that are easy to miss. Others observed that heavy rain may cover normal forest sounds, potentially preventing her from noticing movement close to the tent throughout the night. With the storm masking every noise around her and the ground containing so many hidden creatures, viewers were left wondering throughout those long, rain-filled hours. Inside such a tiny tent, was she actually alone in the wilderness, or simply unaware of whatever remained close by? Known for peaceful stealth adventures, autumn scenery, and quietly entering forgotten locations, the Northwest Wind is a channel operated by Sam, but that atmosphere disappeared during a late-season camping attempt inside a corn maze. On October 26, 2023, Sam reached the location through the woods, pushing through dense brush and muddy ground to avoid being noticed.
I've been bushwhacking for a few minutes. It's right up over this hill. Trying not to get my feet wet, but it's mud butt brooks back here. I gotta find a better way in.
Once among the towering rows, the feeling changed. Every step disturbed something, every breeze moved the stalks, and the maze suddenly felt less empty.
Just trying to get a feel for where would be best to set up. I don't want to be seen in here. I'm at the bottom of a hill, and there's a nice overlook at the top. So there's plenty of people around. It's peak foliage, and this is like a very scenic spot. People come take photos all the time. So I gotta definitely lay low for a while. Kind of sketchy, a little sketchy. It is kind of spooky in here, not gonna lie. Sorry if I'm talking quiet. I just don't want anybody to know that I'm in here at all. The maze is closed today, so I'm not supposed to be in the maze. That's why I came today.
Because the maze had already closed for the day, Sam understood that he had to remain hidden and silent while looking for a concealed place to camp. Voices carried from around the field quads could be heard farther away.
Yeah, see, you hear people back there? I hope the camera could pick that up. You probably could. I just need to get to my spot.
And a dog barked somewhere nearby. With the maze officially closed, any activity inside could quickly attract attention. Once darkness arrived and the maze became completely black, the tension increased rapidly.
I hear somebody coming on a quad or a side-by-side. There's somebody over here on a quad. Oh, shit. That was literally feet from me. Hang on. They're literally like right there.
Engines came uncomfortably close while flashlight beams moved between the rows only yards from him. Sam soon understood something he had failed to consider. While planning, the farm owners did not simply work there, they also lived beside the maze.
I keep hearing people very close by, and those side-by-sides and machines have went by several times. I looked at the Google map again. The people that own this farm, their house is actually here. The people that own and live on this farm are actually 100 yards away. So I'm gonna bail, because the last thing I want is to get shot or be seen out here in the middle of the night and people wonder what the hell's going on their property. It's just not worth the risk. Those are flashlights. I can't film now because the screens are on.
Their home and yard were only around 100 yards from the spot where he intended to camp. The quad came around once more, now even closer, as voices and lights continued moving through the property. What started as an ordinary stealth camping trip suddenly carried the danger of being mistaken for an intruder wandering near a family's home after dark.
They're roaming around here for some reason. I don't know if it's because I'm in here or not, but I'm not taking the risk. I knew this place was commercial, but I didn't realize their house was right there. They got a pool, a tennis court, they're rich. I did not know they lived here, and I'm not gonna get caught in their backyard. That's a good way to get shot. They're close, they're really close. I'm not scared of getting caught. I'm scared of getting caught by homeowners in the middle of the night, so I just gotta get out of here. I think they're looking for me. I promise you I didn't plan this to end up like this. That's the side-by-side, it's close. I gotta get the hell out of here now.
One wrong decision or misunderstanding could have ended very badly. Realizing the risk, Sam decided to give up on the attempt.
Alright, I'm out of the cornfield, but now I gotta cross a road and go back into the woods. There's lights on back there. Do you hear them in the background? I just gotta go, I gotta go. Okay, I gotta go. They're still going around the property. I'm in the woods. Oh, okay, they're coming down here again. I don't know why this, okay, hang on. I think I'm technically off their property now, but it's pitch black and I'm in the woods. And yeah, their back porch is right at the corner of that corn maze. I'm just not comfortable sleeping in somebody's backyard. If it were me and I saw somebody in my backyard with a flashlight late at night, I'd be outside with a weapon. I'm not gonna puff my chest. It just wouldn't end well. It wouldn't be a good situation.
With his heart pounding, he waited for the wind to cover his movements, worked through the corn, and continued farther into the forest.
I gotta cross this creek. Try and get across these logs. I'm like thick in it. I'm deep in it right now. I had to turn it on because I don't know where I'm going. Ow. Oh, I just nutted myself. Oh my god. I fell on this log. Oh, I just nutted myself.
He then crossed a creek, climbed over unstable logs, and faced a long journey through total darkness. When he finally reached the road, he was muddy, bruised, and disappointed. He considered the experience a failed attempt, a lesson learned, and something he needed to leave behind. Even so, the night in the corn maze clearly remained with him. Some viewers believe the activity was simply the landowners checking their property, while others suspect Sam's presence caused the response. In the same situation, would you take the risk and stay or get out immediately? That's it for tonight. Which moment creep? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story, share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.